Season 21 is upon us and we are kicking things off with the Club World Cup, and we were actually kicking things off with a match against Al Ittihad. Last time around in the Club World Cup we definitely didn't win it, did we? But we did a lot better than I thought we would. So if we jump back to not last season, but the last time it was played, we finished second in a group of Real Madrid and Sevilla, and we got all the way through to the second round where we lost to Arsenal. Fair enough. Last time around in the Club World Cup as well, we picked up a lot of money through ticket sales, and we were playing in Norway, if I'm not mistaken, which they have relatively small stadiums. This time around, we're in Saudi Arabia, and the stadiums in Saudi Arabia they're big. The smallest stadium is 24,000 capacity. We've got 92,000. If these are sellouts, which Football Manager assumes they are mostly or close to sellouts most of the time, unlike real life where like 7 people turn up to matches, we should be getting a huge amount of money this time around. Not that we really need it. I mean, we do need it a little bit. We've got £4.78 million in the bank, £3.5 million transfer budget to spend. It is the 1st of June, so the transfer window has yet to open, but obviously we will be doing some business. Right then, let's jump then to, I'm going to say, when the transfer window opens, maybe after the Club World Cup group stages, and I think the second and maybe even quarterfinals may have also taken place. We'll find out. Well, it's the 2nd of June. Our transfer window has opened, and as you can see, we're not in the semi-finals of the Club World Championships. It's Flamengo, Liverpool, Man City, and Real Madrid. Where did we fall down? It was against Manchester City. That's the big stadium, right? That's the 92,000-seater stadium. That's huge. Literally, that is huge. In the second round, we were also playing at the same stadium against Al Nassr of Saudi Arabia and beat them. Lovely, beating the hometown favourites, and we came second in our group. So Al Ittihad and Zamalek, the teams getting knocked out, we managed to beat Zamalek and Al Ittihad, and obviously we lost against Flamengo. Obviously, the transfer window has opened. We have done some business, and some business that you will see on the screen right now. I wasn't convinced it was a good idea until my brain engaged. Kevin Whitman, the Jamaican international from Austria, has moved back over to his native Austria. Is it native Austria now? Because he's got 18 Jamaica caps. It doesn't matter. He's technically from Austria. He's gone back on a free transfer to LASK, and the reason for this is because I'm hoping it unlocks the door for other Austrian sides to scout some of our youngsters and maybe bring them over to Europe. It seems to work. I've noticed this a few times where we'll sell a player to like a team in Italy, for example, and then other teams in Italy will start having like sniffing around some of our players. Or not Italy, sorry, Portugal. That's it. We have a few teams sniffing around our players also from Portugal. So maybe we might get some Austrian sides coming in. Obviously, the only one we really want is RB Salzburg, but, you know, we might get some others. He's not the only player to leave on a free transfer. Ethan Dawkins has left, moving over to Humble Lion. Ramon Swire has also joined Dawkins over at Humble Lion, also on a free transfer. And Ramon Lewis has gone to Waterhouse on a free transfer. And Alwyn Smith has moved over to Mount Pleasant for some actual money. It's not a lot. £1,800 or £3,200 eventually. So it's not a lot of money, obviously, but we were never going to play him. Joining the club so far is nobody. Obviously, the transfer window is still open, but we have done no business as of yet. The big news, though, is Whitman moving over back to Austria. It might have been a mistake because he's technically homegrown. So let's take a look then at the finances from the Club World Cup. So income-wise, this season, we've brought in $5.2 million from gate receipts. That is ridiculous. In the last month, or last 2 months, all of that money has come in. And that is literally, if we have a look at the schedule, so it's technically the end of last season. So we had 92,000. That's the Rose Bowl. That's a different competition. 62,000, 51,000 or 52,000, 86,000, 92,000. That's a sellout there. 72,000 as well. So huge, huge numbers of people going through the doors to watch the Club World Cup. And we have raked in £5 million from it. Anyway, obviously, because it is just the 2nd of July, the season has yet to kick off. The transfer window is open. We've got £3.5 million to spend. Let's jump forward to the end of it, see what we can do. And obviously, we'll be a fair way through, or a couple of matches through anyway, the Caribbean Cup. On the 3rd of September, then, the window is closed, and we have done a bit of business. One big name player has left. Fabian Goodwin is not that big name player. He has moved over to Arnott Gardens for a little bit of money, £10,500, possibly going up to £13,500 a player, who was kind of a squad player, really, wasn't he? Also leaving the club is Hayden Lewis, the Trinidad and Tobago international, technically with 2 caps and 1 goal to his name, has moved over to Humble Lion and gone out on loan to Mount Pleasant. Or no, the other way round, he's gone to Mount Pleasant and gone on loan to Humble Lion for £7,000 a player that wasn't ever playing for us. he looks alright, but he was never going to get in our squad. And part of the reason for that was Tamakari Aburu, who has now left the club. Last season, he was ridiculous. The season before that, he didn't play a huge amount of games, but when he did play, he did score a lot of goals. He's gone for £100,000, which is technically a loss, but there is that 50% sell-on clause in there. It might go up to 110,000. I mean, that's still a loss. Joining the club then, we have 3 players. First of all, Jean, it could be Jean. He's not French, he's from Colombia. Jean Carlos Capacho is his name, a 21-year-old Colombian international attacking midfielder, 19 caps, 3 goals to his name, formerly of Independiente Santa Fe, and he has cost us absolutely no money whatsoever. A free transfer, and just look how good he is. He's a perfectionist. Apparently, that's a good thing when you want to be signing good young footballers and good players to be mentors. There is a downside. He has got a minimum fee release of £195,000, which I feel will inevitably be triggered, and we won't get a 50% sell-on in there. So, with Capacho, we just have to hope that we can convince him to sign a new contract. Feel like it will never happen. Moving up in terms of prices, Alain Gay, a 20-year-old Ivorian defensive midfielder. He has signed from AFAD Plateau, or a team that used to be called AFAD Jekanu, I believe. He has come in for £145,000. He's a good one, kind of for the future. He's come in as an important player. He's not amazing at the moment. Realistically, he's probably the Kevin Whitman replacement, isn't he? And for £800,000, it's a lot of money, is Carlos Alonso, the 22-year-old Uruguayan defensive midfielder and maybe centre-back. He's probably one for the future, although apparently he's only 3-star current and 3-star potential ability. When I scouted him initially, that was higher. That was like 4-star potential ability. We might have wasted money, but he's good enough to do a job for us now. And that's our transfer business. It hasn't been a particularly exciting transfer window if we jump forward to technically this season. We've loaned out some other players as well. Nobody really that we kind of should mention. I mean, Goldsack has gone out on loan again. This time he's gone back to Arnott Gardens for the 5th time in a row. Is he going to become Jamaican soon? I feel like he should be becoming Jamaican sooner than that. We've also loaned out Pedro Portillo. He has gone over to Cavalier, so hopefully he's going to get some game time there. And Narado Aiken, I feel like he's important. I don't know why. He's gone to Via United. He's not good. Oh, I know why, because he was the player that I randomly signed for a lot of money, and I don't know why I did it. I'm looking at his attributes thing, and there had to have been something that made me do it. I was like, maybe it's his personality. He was a perfectionist. And I went, that sounds like a good idea to bring him in. No, not a clue. Now that the transfer business is out of the way, I'm going to draw your attention to the club vision, and in the top left-hand corner, the board alert. A takeover is in progress. This has been going on most of the summer. It keeps cancelling, it keeps coming back, it keeps cancelling, it keeps coming back. I kind of want it to happen because, and I mean no disrespect to Dr. Jermaine Spencer, he's not a very good director of football, but he's also a director at the club, so I literally cannot get rid of him. And I use the director of football to deal with some like loans and things like that, sometimes even offering contracts as youngsters. I need a good one, and he's kind of part of the problem, and I can't get rid of him, so if a takeover happens, Spencer will be out the door. And the other thing to mention is we have finally got ourselves a better head of youth development. Devon Witter is a 49-year-old Jamaican who has never had a job before now. I don't understand how these people exist in the game, but he's never had a job until now. 16 working with youngsters, 16 judging player ability, 15 judging player potential. He's got the same formation that we play. He doesn't really have an amazing personality. I was desperately looking for somebody with a better personality than that, but balance is as good as we're going to get for now. So we have improved, finally, our head of youth development. It has taken 20 whole seasons to do it. And finally, we've played 2 matches so far in the Caribbean Cup, winning both of them as you would expect, beating Racing FC 3-1, beating Caledonia United 6-2. We are definitely going to be winning the Caribbean Cup for the... how manyth time in the row? 15th? It would actually be the 14th time in a row. It will be our 15th time overall. In fact, it's our 15th. Yeah, it will be our 15th time overall. So, yeah, we're definitely going to win it. Now, as always, we lock in players. I say always. The last few seasons, we've been locking in players who haven't been registered for the Jamaican Premier League, which means this time around, we've got 3 players. It is basically the same ones as before. So, Bruno Haliti will be one of them playing as that defensive midfielder. We have locked in Joseph Coffey, who is going to be Jamaican, but he won't be Jamaican by the time he can get registered. So we still need to lock him in, but he'll be becoming Jamaican in January, which means he doesn't need to be locked in and then probably will never play a game for us. And also Arturo Martinez will be playing as well because he is not Jamaican and he is a long, long way away from being Jamaican. Right then, let's jump then to just after Christmas in 2045. We should win the Caribbean Cup, and we should also be top of the Jamaican Premier League as always. It is Christmas Day in 2045. It's not just after Christmas, it is Christmas Day, and we have won the Caribbean Cup for the 14th time in a row, beating Mount Pleasant FC in the final 5-1. It does lock us into the North American Champions League for this 22nd season in charge of Montego Bay. This season, we are up against LAFC or Marathon of Honduras, so LAFC for that one. And we are also top of the Jamaican Premier League with 11 wins to our name, 1 draw, and a positive 49 goal difference. Also, with all this excitement going on, there is one big piece of news that I will come to in just a moment, but Mohamed Cisse is now Jamaican, so one less player that we need to worry about being registered for the squad. He's also got no Senegal cap, so he could become a Jamaican international goalkeeper. Matthijs Svek has also got his paperwork, and he is also now Jamaican as well. He also doesn't have any Czechia caps. He's got 45 under-21 caps, but no actual Czechia caps, so he could also become Jamaican. And as we mentioned earlier, Coffee is also Jamaican. His paperwork came through, and he, once again, doesn't have any caps for Ghana, but I feel like he's not good enough to actually play for the Jamaica side, which I guess is a good thing, because at the start of the save, I feel like he probably would have been. But the biggest piece of news doesn't even come from our team. It comes from Porto over in Portugal. Alejandro Lemoine, the 22-year-old Ecuadorian international with the 50% sell-on clause, is wanted by Manchester United. They want to sign him, and it's an active interest. It means in January we could pick up potentially £50 million. If he goes for top end, £50 million. If he goes for bottom end, £32 million. That is massive, considering a season or two ago we could have sold the clause for like 11. If we can sell it for 32, I say sell it, if we get 32, 33 million pounds from it, we have trebled our money, realistically, from the worst case scenario. It is obviously a transfer window, or will be very soon a transfer window. Nothing's happened just of yet. We have a bit of money to spend, but we are over our wage budget. I'm not expecting a busy transfer window unless that Lemoine deal comes in, because we could go from 1.5 million in the bank to possibly 40 to 50 million pounds in the bank. That could be a very interesting January transfer window. It's now the 1st of February. We are still top of the table. However, we have lost a match against Barbican. The team who are 14th place in the table, bottom of the table, have won 3 times, and they have beaten Montego Bay United. The fact that we've lost to the team bottom of the table is utterly ridiculous. It doesn't really matter though, because we are still way clear at the top of the table with 15 wins to our name. The transfer window has closed, and Lemoine has not moved. So, we have not boosted our money as of yet. He is still wanted, but it's moved from active to rumoured interest. I don't think a bid was ever made. His value's also gone up to a maximum of £104 million. So £52 million could be coming our way if he goes for £104 million. We are merely 2, 3, 4 transfer windows away from literally never having to care about money again. From our transfers, 2 things occurred. In fact, it was Shane George went to Via United, and Marcus Alene went to Port over in Shanghai in China for not a lot of money, but there is that 50% sell-on in there. I brought him in because I thought, he looks all right, he's Jamaican, we'll bring him to the club. And we've managed to move him over to China for £50,000 and a 50% sell-on. So there could be a bit of money coming our way in the few years' time. Obviously, it's worth £2.2 million right now. I don't think it's going to be much more than that if he does ever leave. Speaking of clauses, there are quite a few clauses that we could sell. So Aburu at Damac, we can get £2.5 million. Emmanuel Aziz, who is over at Al Raid for £2.5 million. Once again, Gioni at Inter Miami for 1.75. Cyril Kouadio for 10 million. That's a lot of money. That's a huge amount of money. He is ridiculously good, and he's only 24. I might need to cash that one in. I might hold on for a bit, but I might look to cash Kouadio in. We've also got Ian Tamayo. We can get £6,000. It's not even £6,000, £5,500. Obviously, we're not doing that. So yeah, transfer window was fairly dull, technically. We did sell 1 player, but that was about it. We are still top of the table. We are into the North American Champions League. We are obviously champions of the Caribbean, and we're in the semi-final of the JFF Cup. So let's jump forward then to the end of the regular season. We'll be hopefully in the semi-final of the North American Champions League, hopefully in the final of the JFF Cup, and hopefully we would have won the actual league as well. Yep, we won the actual league, although I fear this might be one of our worst ever when it comes to goal difference. At positive 99, it was 120 last season. We just didn't score as many goals. Admittedly, we did sell our number 1 striker. That didn't stop us getting through to the JFF Cup final, where we'll be up against Mount Pleasant. A JFF Cup, by the way, which has been slowly climbing up ahead of the various trophies from Trinidad and Tobago. So we are technically maybe not too far behind the USSL Championship final. And we're obviously closing in on the Mexican and the US Cup as well. I just want to check as well. So competition reputation for the league. We haven't moved in a while, but we are ahead of Canada, behind Costa Rica, but we're all 2.5-star. Mexican First Division and MLS seem to be switching places. They are 3-star. I feel like it's possible to get to the top of this. And if we get to the top of this, we should be nicking players from the MLS, not the other way round. Also, we are in the North American Champions League semi-final. Tigres of Mexico will be our opponents, and it will be Inter Miami or DC United making their way to the final. So let's jump back to the first round. Let's first of all try and find the other team from Jamaica. It was Mount Pleasant FC who lost to Inter Miami. We've also got Racing FC, I believe, is the other one. Yeah, Haiti, the other one from the Caribbean, who made it through, got absolutely battered by New York City. So in the second round, we beat Marathon 6-4 on aggregate. That was worryingly close, in fact. In the quarterfinal, we beat Atalanta United 4-2. I just said Atalanta like the Italian side. Atlanta United 4-2. And then obviously in the semi-final, it is Tigres. And in the final, it will be, I'm going to say Inter Miami. It's probably Inter Miami. We've also had our youth intake, and it's once again not a very good one. We're not really getting the best youth intakes through at the moment. Obviously, this is the first intake that we've had with our brand new head of youth development, and I don't think he's really good enough at the moment, but we'll see what he's done. So Kevin Phillips is at the top. Obviously, the former Sunderland striker has joined us as a 15-year-old from Jamaica with 14 finishing. He looks all right, doesn't he? He's very fast. I'm not really too convinced anything beyond that. We've got Jason Forbes, who's a goalkeeper. Doesn't look terrible. He's a big lad at 6'5". O'Neill Day, again, doesn't look terrible, but he's in a position that I don't really need because we're always going to have better non-Jamaicans there. Leighton Suarez looks awful, not interested. Kareem Miller, he looks all right. He's definitely not going to be a wing-back because we don't ever play that position. In fact, I don't think anyone ever plays that position, so we'll probably need to retrain you. Nicholas Williams looks rubbish. Nathan Bentley looks even worse, and then players all the way down the end of this list will definitely be bad. I have just seen Eldrick Benane is the president. We've had a takeover. Dr. Jermaine Spencer's gone. So we're going to have to find ourselves a brand new director of football. I don't think there's any rush to doing this, by the way, but we're definitely going to have to find ourselves a new director of football because he's gone. Jermaine's left. I'd like to point out as well, you probably did spot there, but we have been improving our youth recruitment, coaching facilities and things. So training facilities is now superb. We've got great youth facilities, exceptional academy coaching and youth recruitment as well. So we're doing really, really good when it comes to facilities. I don't necessarily show you this every time because just assume that I'm trying to do this. And if they're not improving it, I'm definitely not telling you. And if they are improving it, I forgot I asked, okay? Right then, one last thing to do then for this season is to jump to the end of it. And will we win the quadruple? Because technically it is still on the cards. We'll kick things off then in the JFF Cup. We did win that one 5-1 against Mount Pleasant. So that is 2 trophies in the bag. The JFF Cup joining the Caribbean Cup as well. In the Jamaican Premier League, up against Treasure Beach in the final. Talbot collects the ball, plays it on the ground to Buckner, tries to get through to Coates, who's playing as our lead striker. And after 60 minutes, we do take the lead, making it 1-0. And then, right the way in the 97th minute of the match, we double our lead, securing the trophy. Coffee finds Gay, finds Carpaccio, long-range effort from well outside the area. He's a big lad, I didn't realise how tall he was. Tucks it into the back of the net, and we have won the Jamaican Premier League. He's only 6'1". I thought he was taller than that. Also, he's wanted, so this might have been the last time you'll ever see Carpaccio. Unless he manages to score a goal in the North American Champions League final up against Inter Miami, Perez finds Priestley. His long-range effort is not very good, but somehow manages to find its way underneath the goalkeeper. 20 minutes on the clock, we take the lead, and about 10 minutes later, we manage to double our lead. Buckner on the left-hand side crosses it in. Priestley's there, can't quite find him. Talbot, though, can rise the highest from the strange clearance, tucks that ball away, and that secures us the North American Champions League. Looking at this XG graph, I don't know what happened in the second half and why we didn't score, but that seems to be what occurred. So we ended up winning all 4 trophies possible this season, and it's another season where we've done that. We've done that quite a few times now. Financially, we are just about in the black. We did dip into the red for a fair few months, but we are back in the black once again. This ski slope of a decline is a worry, okay? It is definitely a worry. It's always, every season is pretty sharp, isn't it? It's pretty sharp. Although last season there wasn't a huge amount of expenditure. So I don't really know what's going on there. Just want to take a look at some of our goal scorers then, and I didn't point this out actually. So we only locked in 2 players in the end. So Bruno Heliti was one of those players because he wasn't registered, playing as a centre-back. He is out of contract at the end of the season. Don't know whether we want to continue with that. And Arturo Martinez, the Panamanian, has actually been playing as a left-back for a considerable amount of football. If we have a look at his form here, he's been playing as a wing-back because I can't fit him in as that attacking midfielder anymore. So Martinez is that left-back. And he's fully qualified. He's got his certificates. They're all there. He's not a terrible left back. I mean, he is a terrible left back. He can't tackle or mark or do anything like that. But it doesn't really matter when you're playing in the Jamaican Premier League. It doesn't really matter because he doesn't need to defend. We don't really concede too many goals. And I have just seen he scored 10 goals in all competitions from left back. He might have played a few as an attacking midfield early on in the season, but from left back, he scored 10 goals, which is a lot. We've also got DeAndre Batista, who broke double figures. I think he got 13 goals in all competitions, 10 of them in the basically outside of the Caribbean Cup. He's 18. He's got 6 caps for Jamaica. He's just burst onto the scene, and I'm loving this. Good old Alwyn Buckner is still here and still bagging lots and lots of goals. 15 this time around, also double figures for assists. The 28-year-old, obviously, he's having to train himself, I guess. He's now an inside forward on the left. Spent most of his early career as that attacking midfielder, but he has been forced out wide. But he's really good. The mental numbers on Buckner are just amazing, are they not? We've also got Nikwan Coates, who, once Abu left the club, I think he moved into that attacking midfield / striker role, scoring 27 goals in all competitions. I think it was technically more once you include the Caribbean Cup goals. Kimoni Talbot got 33 in all competitions, 25 of them in the Jamaican Premier League, 3 in the North American Cup, 2 in the JFF Cup, 1 in the Club World Cup as well. Is that Club World? Club World North American Qualifying. That's the World Cup. That's not Club World Cup. Ignore that. But top of the tree with 19 assists and 33 goals as well is Jean Carlos Capachco. He's been amazing. And I think this might be the last time we see Capachco because he's wanted once again by Al Faisali in Saudi Arabia. He has £110,000 minimum fee release. In fact, it's gone up slightly. I did offer him a new contract, but they still wanted the minimum fee release. So I'm just bumping it up, trying to get a little bit of money. I'm annoyed that we are just going to lose him for £200,000, but we'll see. We might manage, if we sell him for free and a 50% sell on, it's much better than selling him for his minimum fee release. Just taking a quick look as well, Haliti has got another year before he becomes Jamaican. Michael Frimpong might be getting close. He's got 2 or so years to go. We know Coffee is already Jamaican, so is Benoit. In fact, we know that one. Gay's just joined the club. We've got Svek. Has he got any caps? He's got a Jamaica cap. Svek has a Jamaica cap. Who was it against? It was against Barbados. Was it in a competitive match? That's the other question. Was it in a competitive game or was it in a friendly? It was a friendly, so he could technically still play for Czechia, I think. Arturo Martinez as well. He's got about a year and a half, I think. Cisse does not have any Senegal or Jamaica caps. It's still possible. Gaston Perez, he's only just joined last season, didn't he? So he's got a long, long time to go. And Carlos Alonso just joined this season, so he's got even longer to go. So we are slowly getting some Jamaicans through. Still another couple of years. We actually jump to the dev squad. Have we got anybody here? Like Tyrone Baptiste. He is just under half a year, or just over half a year to go. He's out of contract very soon, and I feel like I'm not going to extend that. Janvier and Smarth basically can't become Jamaican. We've got Fabiani, who arguably shouldn't be in the reserves. He's got a long way to go yet. Pedro Portillo as well. I feel like you're not too far away. Yeah, 440 days for Portillo. Haroldson, the 25-year-old Icelandic, he's going to become Jamaican in a year's time, but I think he might be out of contract. Yeah, he's out of contract, so you never know. He'll probably never get that. And next year, this Lemoyne clause, I feel like it's going to be triggered. And if it's triggered, 124 million. He's still wanted. He's still wanted. Who wants him? Who wants him? Newcastle want him as well. Oh, and we all know Newcastle have money. Off the back of another successful season, winning the quadruple once again, we are going again for season 22 with Montego Bay United. I am going to take a look actually early on at the Jamaica national side because I always kind of forget, not that they exist, obviously I know they exist, but I always forget to see how they are progressing. So they are currently 41st in the world rankings. which in comparison to their 41st, they are better than Scotland, but worse than Northern Ireland. I don't know what that really tells you, but there we are. If we do North America only, that's Botswana. That's no Football Manager. That's not where Botswana is. So we have to do it the old-fashioned way, but we are the third best nation in North America. So Mexico are 9th, United States are 11th, and we are down in 41st. Realistically, though, on paper, who else is there? There's obviously a lot of the Caribbean islands, but they're not going to be as good as us. Costa Rica are down in 60th. Maybe they should be a bit higher. Maybe they should be better than us. Who knows? There's been a few World Cups. In fact, there was a World Cup this year where they finished last place in Group F, which, the World Cup is still currently ongoing. So where is Group F? Who was in their group? It was Japan, Belgium, Egypt, and then Jamaica. So they picked up 2 points against Japan and Belgium, but did lose against Egypt. If they beat Egypt, they would have actually finished in second place. Stupid. And actually looking at the last 4 World Cups, they have finished bottom of their group in the last 4, and then the 5th one, they actually finished 3rd, so they're not actually getting out the group stage. They are also doing just as badly in the Olympics. In the 2044, they finished 4th in their group, so that's not really a thing. In the Under-20s World Cup, they're also not getting out the group stage there. Under-17s World Cup isn't a thing. What else? The French Youth International, they lost to Wales in the 5th place playoff, so they came 6th, okay. Pan American Games, they finished 3rd in their group every single time. I don't even know what this competition is. It's a 4-team group. So they were ahead of Mexico. They beat Mexico 2-1, but they did lose against Brazil and Argentina. In the Gold Cup, they get to the final. They have got to the final, I say a couple of times, once, twice. And they're losing to the USA. Both times they also lost to the USA in 2017 in real life. North American Nations League, which I don't even know what this is. They are coming 3rd a lot. But losing when they get to the final, they lose the final to Mexico or the USA. World Cup qualifiers, they do qualify for the World Cup as we'd expect. And that's kind of pretty much it. Caribbean Championships isn't a thing anymore. Under-20s Championships. I mean, it's not as... They're not doing very well. Maybe we need to become the Jamaica manager. I might keep an eye out if this job becomes available. Anyway, that was a very long start to the season, but I feel like we needed to check in on how Jamaica were doing, because it is now 21 years in the future. I don't think we've really had a proper check-in on the club. This season, we're in the usual 4 competitions: the Jamaican Premier League, the Caribbean Cup, JFF Cup, and the North American Champions League, because we won the Caribbean Cup last season. Even if we don't win the Caribbean Cup this time around, we will be in the competition, is what I'm trying to say. The transfer window has opened, no business has taken place yet. We've got £2 million to spend, and more importantly, if we take a very quick look here, we have got the Alejandro Lemoine deals. Man United and Newcastle are interested. Newcastle have an active interest in Lemoine. That could be massive for us if that actually happens. We've also got clauses to sell if we feel like we want to sell some clauses, so Abu and Aziz, Gioni. We've also got Kawadio, which has now dropped down to 9.5 million, which was about 10 million. So we could get a bit of extra money that way as well. But we are now going to jump forward then to September. Transfer window will have opened and closed. Some business will have taken place. And hopefully Lemoine gets sold to Newcastle. Well, the window's closed and he's still at Porto, 93 to 140 million pounds. Still Man United, still Newcastle interested, but now it's dropped down to just rumoured. And the strange thing is, with Lemoine, we can buy the clause for £511,000, which says to me, they think he's leaving, right? They think he's leaving, or our new director of football is just absolutely awful at football. I mean, he's not awful at football, is he? Yes, it is. It is Bobby Clark, formerly of Newcastle and Liverpool and Swansea and Watford in this save. The 41-year-old now English under-20 or former under-20 international is our director of football. I tried to find somebody good. This is the best I could get. I just love the fact that he's decided, you know what will be a good idea for my career is to move away from the northeast, the northwest, South Wales, or just outside of London to go to Montego Bay. Probably to just have like a nice, I was going to say retirement. He's not retired, obviously he's 41, but he can spend 20 years over here, still earning a decent wage. He'll have a lovely time. Anyway, we kind of went on a little bit of a weird kind of tangent there, didn't we? So we have done a fair amount of transfer business, and I guess the big one here is Kapachko. He has moved over to Al-Shabaab, but if you notice, it was £91,000 possibly going up to 110, and that is because we locked in the 50% sell-on. I didn't care what money we got from. I just needed that sell-on in there, and we managed to get 50% sell-on. I didn't care what club he went into. That 50% sell-on there is massive for us. Other players to leave the club. Pedro Portillo has moved over to Mount Pleasant, which is a great bit of business, I think, because he's one of those players. I think I even mentioned when I brought him that I brought him to the club with the intention of never playing him and then moving him off to another team in Jamaica, and that is exactly what has happened. He's gone for just under £10,000. He's almost Jamaican as well, so he's actually going to get his Jamaican citizenship playing for Mount Pleasant. I'm not going to go through all of these, but we can see also there are 5 more players, all youngsters, going on free transfers off to Mount Pleasant FC. They were never going to play for us. 2 players have joined the club. We have, first of all, picked up Eduardo Gomez, a 19-year-old Mexican attacking midfielder with 3 caps to his name. He's cost absolutely nothing because his contract expired at Toluca. He's all right. He's certainly no Capaccio, but he does have 5-star potential. And more importantly, no minimum fee release clause. And we have also signed Casimiro Soli, who is a 19-year-old Senegalese striker, 15 caps, 3 goals, formerly of Generation Foot, 120 appearances there with 50 league goals to his name. He's cost just £200,000. I felt like we needed ourselves a brand new talismanic striker since we sold Abu a couple of seasons ago, or last season technically, and I think it was Aziz a couple of seasons before that. So Soli is now that talismanic striker. So hopefully he does all right. He gets some goals. He's already scored twice in one match in the Caribbean Cup. And that is all of the transfer business that we have managed to do. We have financially £2.06 million in the bank. We've got a little bit more cash in the bank, but I think most of that has actually come from season ticket sales, if I'm not mistaken. So 4.425. No, I even mentioned his name. Abu has left and moved over to Schalke from Damac for £8.5 million. So 50% sell on in there. We get about £4.25 million, I believe, something along those lines. So that is why we've got a big old chunk of money, but that's all we've managed to do. I say we like I had any involvement in that whatsoever. I literally just sold him to Damac a year or so ago. We have kicked off the Caribbean Cup. Obviously, one match has been played, beating Violet 4-1. We're going to take a quick look at the tactics, and you can see a few players have been locked in. A lot of the players who aren't registered now for the regular Jamaican Premier League squad are getting very, very annoyed, particularly players like Haliti, who hasn't been registered for a fair few seasons. He's going to become Jamaican in less than a year, and he's never really played in the Jamaican Premier League. He has played a lot of football for us, just not in the Jamaican Premier League. So he played 14 matches that season. He played 17 that season, 15 last season. So he's getting games, just not in the Jamaican Premier League. We need to keep these guys happy. So Haliti is in there. We've also got, if I can click on his name, Michael Frimpong. He's annoyed because he isn't registered. This one could be a bad thing, but we just don't have the space in the squad. He's also 2 years away from becoming Jamaican. And we've got Arturo Martinez, who, after a season playing as a left-back, has been pushed back up to be that attacker midfielder. And once again, like Haliti, he's been here for so long, but he's never played. He played once that season, 17 that season, 15, 16, and then obviously still not registered. Actually, is he going to be Jamaican soon? In about a year's time. I feel like this one's going to happen. Right, next up then, let's jump to around Christmas time. The Caribbean Cup will be back in our trophy for the 15th straight season. And we will have obviously played a fair amount of matches in the Jamaican Premier League as well. Yep, it's definitely back in the trophy. We've won 11-1 on aggregate, 7-1 in the second leg. So what is that? If I can do some maths, that is 4-0 in the first leg. So yeah, we've won the Caribbean Cup again, which means season 23 will be back in the North American Champions League. Speaking of, obviously, it has yet to kick off. We will be up against San Jose or Toluca. Didn't we play Toluca last season? So obviously, we want to be winning this again. We've won this a lot now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this could be our 10th win of the North American Champions League if we manage to get that far. Who else have we got? So from Costa Rica, you're not from the Caribbean Cup. Who am I looking for? Mount Pleasant have this team from Guatemala. I feel like they're getting past that one. That is good to see. And is it Aguila, the other team from El Salvador? Maybe they're not. I'm looking for somebody. San Jose are clearly not, you clown. I'm looking for the other team who are from the Caribbean Cup. I don't know who it is. It's Sabao FC, isn't it? Yeah, Sabao FC from Dominican Republic are up against York FC from Canada. So they might get through that as well. I mean, we're not trying to build the Caribbean as like a region, but I kind of like to see them do well in the North American Champions League. The other thing that we are obviously doing is playing in the Jamaican Premier League, because that's what we kind of have to do. 12 wins out of 12, some big wins in there. A 9-0 against Harbourview, 8-0 against Portmore United, 8-1 against Veer United, a positive 74 goal difference. We've conceded twice. We've conceded twice all season. That's ridiculous. Just seems like Arnott Gardens have only conceded 7, and 2 of them were against us. And I've also seen Solly as the top goal scorer with 17. He's good. He's getting good. 17 goals in 11 matches. He's not even played all games. It is the transfer window. No business has taken place as of yet, just to kind of keep you up to date. We've got 2 million to spend. I don't know what we're going to really do. I'd love to sell Lemoyne. It's not really up to us though, is it? Another transfer window goes by and Alejandro Lemoyne remains playing for Porto, and he's not wanted anymore. He's not wanted by anybody. He's got a new contract, so 4 year, 4 months left on his contract. Don't know when he signed it. £135,000 a week. I think last time I kind of clocked he had his contract, it was like 95 grand, so he's had a pay rise. He is staying at Porto for now. When do we consider cashing this in? He's 24. He's still on the rise. He's not at his peak yet. His reputation is worldwide. And I mean this in the nicest possible way to Porto and Portuguese fans. They're not the biggest league or biggest team in the world. There is the possibility of a Man United. I say Man United like they're like really good. They're a big team. They're not necessarily a good team. But like your Real Madrid's, your Bayern Munich's, teams like that could come in for Lemoyne. And that's a distinct possibility. It's what we're holding out for. A bit of transfer business then. Players leaving the club. Joseph Smith has left. The Haitian international has moved over to Nashville. We weren't ever going to play him, and they offered him not a lot of money, £15,500-ish, but we do also have, I believe, a 50% sell-on in there. So, if he ever leaves Nashville, we're going to get a bit of cash from that. Another player who's moved over to the MLS is DeAndre Batista, who had a ridiculously good season last time around, but hasn't played this time, really. I say, is it last time? It was last time. He scored loads, but most of them I think were in the Caribbean Cup. He's moved over to LA Galaxy, £74,000. Once again, we do have a sell-on. I always make sure that there is some form of sell-on in there. And another player moving over to the MLS is Malik Maxwell, moving to Charlotte FC, Jamaican international fullback. 4 caps to his name. He's gone for £22,000, and everybody say it with me, there's a 50% sell-on clause in there. Joining the club then, we have gone and poached a couple of players from other teams in Jamaica, and we have put clauses back to them. Zahir McGinty is first up, 18-year-old Jamaican left-back. He has come in because we sold Maxwell and we needed some other players. But he's also gone straight back on loan to Harbourview. He's cost us, what's he cost us? £28,000. And Kadon, or Kadon, I don't know, I assume, I'm going to call him Kadon Morrison. The 21-year-old Jamaican under-23 international goalkeeper has signed from Waterhouse and gone back out on loan there. He has come in to be a second or third choice goalkeeper. He has cost a lot of money, £70,000, but he is literally a child still. He's only 21, going to be 22 in a couple of months' time. I think there's a bit of potential for Morrison. That's kind of why I wanted to bring him to the club. And finally, the only player that we've signed who hasn't come from Jamaica and who also hasn't cost us any money is Rafael, 19-year-old Brazilian attacking midfielder, formerly of Flamengo. Like I said, cost us nothing, out of contract, picked him up on a free. Not amazing right now, but he does have 5-star potential, so we're obviously going to be holding up our hopes that he actually manages to hit that. And that is it. We've got some loans going in there. So McGinty and Morrison, as we've said, have gone on loan. We've also got, what's his name? Jason Forbes has gone out on loan as well. Another young goalkeeper to Dunbarholden. But that is it. So financially still in a reasonable way. I will have a quick look at the clauses. So we will take a look at, we've only got two. We've got 2. So we've got Gioni for 1.76 and Tamayo for obviously not a lot of money. So we've got a lot of big players here. We've got Eleni with a 50%. We've got Aziz, 50. Bays, 50. Batista, 50. Carpaccio, 50. Koulibaly, 50. Ebanks, he hasn't got one anymore. Gioni for 1.76 million. Anyone else? Gotin's at 50. Coadio's at 50. Lemoyne, obviously the big one, at 50 there. Maxwell, 50% selling. If we sell all of these, or if we get these clauses all to kind of pay out, that's a lot of money. Smart's got 20% profit. Okay, it's not a massive one. We've also got 50 on staple. Anyway, moving away from transfers, top of the table still, 16 wins now out of a possible 16. We've just conceded 3 against Portmore United. Our really good goal difference, I mean, we've only let in 5. In 16 matches, we've let in 5. It means Cisse has 12 clean sheets in 14 appearances. That's ridiculous. And the only reason why we've let in 3, by the looks of it, is Jamil Oldham played a match, and he actually conceded 3 and kept 1 clean sheet in the 2 matches. So he just played the last match and conceded 3. I don't think I mentioned this either. So when it comes to the squad, we've obviously had to do a bit of changing around of who's locked in to the starting 11. So we've got Carlos Alonso as a centre-back on that left-hand side. He's wanted by Al Raid. Don't really want to sell you. Heliti still locked in as you'd expect. We've also got Fabiani on that right-hand side. I did realise, obviously, he's been sat in the reserves, not really doing a lot. I've bumped him up to the first team. Going to get him some game time. He can't play as a right winger, but he will be. Martinez playing as that attacking midfielder. And then we've got on the left-hand side, Eduardo Gomez, player who I brought in the summer? Last season? Summer. When did I bring him in? Yeah, it was definitely in the summer, who's playing on that left-hand side. He hasn't kicked a ball just yet, but he has been locked in to play as a left winger, which again, much like Fabiani, he can't do that job. But obviously playing there will teach him actually how to be a left winger. One final thing before we jump to around April time, we are looking to sell Alain Gay. He is currently on his way to the MLS. So one thing I've been trying to do is sell some players off to the MLS, because basically I heard rumours that if you sell players to teams in other countries outside of yours, they start scouting you. I think I mentioned this a few seasons ago, and I thought, actually, you know what? The MLS isn't a terrible league. They've got money to spend. They will often feed other leagues around us, and obviously over in Europe, so maybe let's just get some players over there. So Gay has gone over there. He's not playing for us. He's quite happy to do it. It's not going to be a lot of money, but there will obviously be that 50% clause in there. Right then, time to jump to April, see how things go. First of all, we've made it to the JFF Cup final up against Mount Pleasant, which I believe is a repeat of many, many cup finals. We have also managed to win the league, and we have gone invincible, 78 points, a positive 100, I said 21 for some reason, 119 goal difference. How many did we concede? 11. 11 all season. That might be our best season ever. And we are in the North American Champions League semi-final up against Saprissa, and Mount Pleasant are also in the semi-final against LA Galaxy. I think I mentioned this a few seasons ago when I think it was Mount Pleasant as well got to the semi-final. If we played them in the final, do I throw it? Obviously, not officially, not legally, but do we decide to lose that match to give Mount Pleasant a North American Champions League win? It could help the nation of Jamaica. Oh, also, I did decide to sell the Smarth clause, by the way. It was 20% of the profit for £122,000, which I think is actually a really good deal, because I don't think he's very good. We have also had an excellent youth intake. We've gone through the last few seasons with some pretty bad youth intakes, but this time around we've got ourselves an excellent youth intake. I think there's 4 that I think could be good. Starting off with Courtney McClare, he doesn't look amazing at the moment, but he is only 15. We're going to obviously have to retrain him. I think probably more towards the defence midfield. He's only 5'6", so he's a little lad. Maybe the attacker midfield role, but McClare I think could be good. He's still only 15, like I said. He was also a model citizen. That's kind of one of my leanings why I think he could be good. Another midfielder is Damar Johnson. Again, 1.5-star current ability, but he does have 5-star potential. He doesn't look anything special at the moment, but I think there could be something there. Probably this one might be the attacking midfielder. Although he's got 8 tackling. Maybe he could be the defence midfielder again. Not sure. We've also got ourselves, hopefully, a really good young goalkeeper in the shape of Jaheim Mason, 15 years old, 7 free kick taking. I always pay attention to that because a few years ago I had a goalkeeper who had like 9 free kick taking, and I made him take all my free kicks, and he scored like 7. It was quite interesting. I'm not sure whether Mason's going to get a huge amount of game time, but he could be a Jamaica number 1 in maybe 10 years' time. And finally, Ian Glidden, who I think is probably our best player at the moment. Striker, 16 years old, maybe a right winger as well. 1.5-star current, 4.5-star potential for Glidden. So we've got 4 players there who I think are good. We've also got Luther McCall, who might be good. I think he's just big though. He's 6'3" with decent aerial ability. Not a lot else really to talk about. We've had an excellent intake. It's the first proper intake from our new head of youth development who came in at the start of last season. It's his first full season at the club. This is what he's done. We've got some high hopes, I think. The future is looking promising for our Montego Bay United side. Oh, and just to confirm, Alain Gay did move over to New York City FC, by the way. It was, in total, £96,000 with a 50% sell-on. Speaking of sell-ons, yes, we're back at Lemoyne, and he's wanted by Man United, and it's an act of interest. It's going to happen. It has to happen. At some point, this transfer is going to go through and it's going to change our lives. Anyway then, we obviously will jump to the end of the season in just a second. It'll be the JFF Cup, the North American Champions League. Will it be a Mount Pleasant final and the Jamaican Premier League? So we could win the quadruple again. We are going to kick things off then with a somewhat boring affair in the Jamaican Premier League, in fact, where we beat Arnott Gardens 1-0. Kimoni Talbot with a goal. That was it, 19 minutes on the clock. We take the lead and we win the match and we win the league. Kind of pretty dull. We got an XG of 2. We had 20 shots. Not really the most exciting. Normally we win something like 4-0 here. 1-0, that's all it was. Speaking of winning 4-0, however, up against Mount Pleasant FC in the JFF Cup final, we do win 4-0. Gomez opens the scoring after 39 minutes. Because this is the JFF Cup, by the way, we do play obviously a slightly rotated side like Fabiani, the, I want to say Venezuelan, I should probably know this, plays in on the ground, finds Martinez, the Panamanian attacking midfielder, making it 2-0 just before half-time. Deep into the second half now, Rafael with a long-range free kick is pinpoint accurate into the top corner, making it 3-0, and then in the 90th minute, or maybe even the 91st minute, Benoit finds Lecky on that left-hand side, ball over the top, Martinez again this time on the volley, past Ferguson, making it 4-0 in the final, up against Mount Pleasant FC, meaning we've won 3 trophies out of 3. Will we make it 4 out of 4, or will we lose to Mount Pleasant FC in the final of the North American Champions League? Because that is who we were playing in the final. 40 minutes on the clock. Mount Pleasant FC passing it poorly. Niquan Coates is there to put the ball past Ferguson. We take the lead. However, just before half-time, in fact, a few minutes later, in fact, it is 1-1. Pedro Portillo, our former player, finds Christie in the penalty area. Cisse lets in a very, very rare goal for him this season, meaning it is 1-1. And it stayed 1-1 all the way through to extra time. But then in the 95th minute, Kimoni Talbot on the edge of the area finds a bit of space for himself, puts it into the bottom corner from long range. We do not throw the competition, but I did contemplate if we got this far against Mount Pleasant, do we decide to throw it? We didn't throw it, okay? We stuck to our guns, integrity in the final, but they got there. Mount Pleasant FC got to the final. But it is, once again, another season of 4 trophies coming our way. Taking a very quick look at the squad then, sorting by goals. What have we got? We've got 6 players on double figures. We've got Rafael with 10 goals in all competitions. He's improving. He's playing a lot more than I thought he would, actually, which is good. Arturo Martinez, 16 goals. Obviously, all of these coming in competitions that were not the Jamaican Premier League. That's very nice to see. Niquan Coates with 22 goals. Where were you playing? Attacking midfield? Striker. You were playing as a striker, getting a lot of goals. For Coates, Buckner gets 31. How's Buckner looking? Obviously, loves the goal, loves playing for us. He's a club legend at this point, surely. We'll check that in a second. Kimoni Talbot gets 33 goals, but also 24 assists, which is insanity. That is a stupid amount of goals, and he's worth absolutely nothing. Possibly £75,000. He's wanted, by the way. Lots of these players are wanted by lots of teams over in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, places like that, but also a bit of the MLS. But because they're worth nothing, I don't want to sell them. He's quite happy playing here. He doesn't really want to leave, so I'm not going to sell him just for the sake of selling him. But the top goal scorer, scoring 41 goals, is Casimiru Soli, the new signing at 28 goals in the league. Obviously, everything else coming in the various other competitions. He's had a cracking season. He's got damaged knee cartilage. So has he missed much football because of that? He's missed a reasonable amount, actually. He's missed he's missed 3 or 2, technically. 2 Champions League matches. Did play a little bit in the final. But I have seen he is wanted. Who wants him? Who wants it? I don't want to spoil the surprise. Liverpool. Okay, that's interesting. These two I don't care for. Obviously, Saudi League, you get money, but that's about it. Liverpool, you get sell-on clauses, you get Premier League appearances. He gets big money. If we get a Liverpool offer for Soli, he might be off. So the last thing then we'll do at the end of this season is take a look at the legends, icons, and favoured personnel. So we'll look at the favoured personnel. So Nick Welcome, who is still at the club, is a favoured personnel. Capaccio, who is obviously not at the club, he's at Al-Shabaab, is favoured personnel. Nick Priestley, still here? He's not here, is he? We've got lots of players called Nick, by the way. That's why I get this one confused. So he is now a retired footballer. We've also got Christopher Dua, who was our assistant manager up until a couple of seasons ago. Aburu, we've got Bays is still there. Frimpong, Koulibaly. He left years ago, didn't he? 2042, we've got Goten is still there. He left in 2041 as a favourite personnel. Elena. We've also got Nikon Coates still at the club. Loves a goal. 101 league goals now. Colin Hernandez. He left, moved to Defence Force, retired. He's now a scout. Not an awful scout. He's not a good scout by any means, but he's not an awful scout. Leo Campbell. He was a player in the very first season, I believe, for us. Scored a lot of goals. Alsane Sonko should be a legend of the club for literally leaving us and giving us loads of money. He has gone to Wolfsburg. Did he go for money or did he get released? We played a blinder. We played an absolute blinder on Sonko. We sold his clause, I think, that season there for like £10 million. And he left on a free. We've also got Buckner. Andy. How's Andy doing? He's still playing. He's 37 and absolutely garbage, but he's still playing, still scoring goals as well, playing for Federal FC, still in Jamaica. He's come over here. He loves it so much. He's decided he is setting up here for the rest of his life. Severo Depas as well. He's still at the club. He's one of those players that he's not good, but he is good. He just does well for us. And then legends. Ian Goodison, a real legend. A real legend. Hector Wright is a real legend. So is Stephen Malcolm. But in there, it's Kimoni Talbot, who is a club legend, which I'm pretty happy with. And obviously, me. I'm a club legend too, and I'm 61. I'm an old man. I look good for 61 though.